guys, thank you for coming back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Lindsay and I'm currently 29 weeks pregnant with a baby girl. If you are new here, please hit that red subscribe button down below and give this video a like. And today's video is actually going to be on gestational diabetes and the glucose test. I actually failed my first gestational diabetes test, so in this video I'm going to be going over what gestational diabetes is, the risk factors of it, and how you can try to prevent it, my story, what happens if you have it, and just a little bit of everything to give you a lot of information. After I failed my first test, I did tons of research and there wasn't really a ton of videos like this on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get it just straight into the video. Just a quick disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. I am not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not anything. I just am a girl that failed her first gestational diabetes test and did a lot of research and asked her doctor a lot of questions. So if you have any questions, please go ask your doctor. Stay till the end for my story. So essentially what gestational diabetes is when a form of diabetes that only occurs in pregnancy. It's when you are obviously pregnant, you have the placenta in your uterus, and the placenta creates hormones that affect your pancreas to not create enough insulin to keep up with the glucose that you are intaking and eating. So gestational diabetes, like I said, only occurs during pregnancy and it typically resolves immediately after birth. A few ways that you can prevent it is exercising, eating right during your pregnancy, but taking that all into account, anyone can get it. You could be doing everything right and still get gestational diabetes. It's really just based on your hormones. So don't beat yourself up if you got it, because no matter if you had a bowl of ice cream yesterday or you eat perfectly clean, perfectly healthy, have like a vegan or keto lifestyle, whatever you decide to do, you can still get gestational diabetes. So don't beat yourself up. I obviously, like I said at the beginning of this video, failed my first gestational diabetes test. The gestational diabetes test is you drink a little drink and it's really sugary. You get to choose from 3 flavors typically, one being orange, one being fruit punch, and one being lemon lime. And you have to drink it within 5 minutes of starting to drink it. And then after 1 hour, they will take your blood, send that off to a lab, and test your glucose levels to see if your pancreas is keeping up with the sugar intake. A lot of people fail the first one. I believe when I was doing research after I failed my first one, it's 25% of women fail the first one, and then only about 2 to 8% of people actually have gestational diabetes. So if you fail your first one, don't stress out. Your baby is getting all that stress. If you are stressing out, that's better, easier said than done. I stressed out and I did a lot of research and freaked myself out, but essentially the risk factors of gestational diabetes are your baby being too large to fit through the birth canal, which means that cesarean is a big side effect if you have gestational diabetes. That's why they want to catch it when you're in your 2nd trimester or just beginning your 3rd trimester around 28 weeks, is so that they can try to stop the baby from growing too large. Because essentially what happens is the baby's pancreas will compensate for your pancreas not making enough insulin. So the baby just will take all that extra glucose, grow until they're too big to fit through the birth canal. And then you have to get a C-section. Another couple risk factors are childhood obesity, and 50% of women from my research that have gestational diabetes tend to develop type 2 diabetes later in life. So that is another thing that can happen. Along with that, stillbirth is a risk factor depending on everything. Obviously stillbirth can be a risk factor for almost anything in pregnancy. So that's a really tiny percentage, so don't worry about that either. But if you fail your first one, you will be asked to come in for a 3-hour glucose test, where they will take your blood 4 times. The first being on a fasting blood draw to see how much glucose you have in your blood. Then they will have you drink that drink within 5 minutes, and they will take your blood on the 1st hour mark, the 2nd hour mark, and the 3rd hour mark. After that, you are able to go home, and they should have results to you within the next couple following days. During my 3-hour test, felt super lightheaded, had a headache. I did not react to it well. They had to put me in a room in the back to lay down because I felt like I was going to pass out. It's just so much sugar, and my body is not used to having that much sugar, that I think it just reacted funny. And being on a fasting stomach and just dousing like my whole stomach in sugar did not feel good. I was really lightheaded. Like I said, had an awful headache. If you throw up during this 3-hour test, you have to retake it. So that is one of my main motivators too. I was not wanting to throw up. I did not feel good, but I did not want to throw up because I didn't want to do it again. I'd already taken the test the first time, and it made me feel awful the first time. And then with the second test, it made me feel awful again. So I didn't want to have to do it again. But this whole time that I had to stop eating at 9 o'clock the night before. They wanted me to eat dinner at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then I fasted for about 15 hours until after the test, until I was able to eat, which was awful too. They have you, at least my doctor had me bring in a snack for after my 4th blood draw. And she wanted it to be very high in protein, so that I didn't get as bad of a sugar crash and have all those awful symptoms, but it still did not react well with my body. So that is pretty much what happened to me. I got a call 2 days later that I passed, and I actually asked my doctor, and she said I passed all 4 of the blood draws. You have to fail 2 out of 4 to have gestational diabetes to fail the test. So you can still fail 1, like if you fail that first hour, but sometimes it just takes different people's bodies a little bit longer to be able to break down the glucose and to be able to kick in, I guess, a little bit, if that makes sense. But if you fail your first test, you do not guaranteed have gestational diabetes. I freaked out, and I did not have a good reaction. I stressed out, and I just scared myself a lot. So you do not guarantee to have it. A lot of women fail it, and they try to make the test easier to fail just so that they catch every single person that has it, because like I said, the risk factors are fairly scary. So they just want to make sure that they have everyone that has gestational diabetes and that you're able to get the help that you need. If you do have it though, what your doctor might have you do is go on a strict eating regimen, an exercise routine, things like that, to help reduce the amount of risk with your baby getting too big or to like having all those risk factors. Like I said at the beginning, I am not a doctor, so this is not medical advice. This is from my own research and from what my doctor has said. But please go ask your medical provider any questions that you may have. WebMD does not make you feel better. I tried it. When I failed my first test, it does not help. It just scares you. So just try to relax. It'll be okay. No matter if you have it or not, it's only a short amount of time that you have to change how you're living, and it will be okay. Your baby will be fine. Your baby's perfectly healthy, and your pregnancy is going awesome. Like I said, don't beat yourself up, because no matter who you are, you cannot control if you have gestational diabetes or not. You could be doing everything right and still get gestational diabetes, or you can be eating a bowl of ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and not have it. It's just dependent on your hormones and your placenta and how your body works. So do not beat yourself up. It's not your fault. You are not failing your baby. But I hope that this helps. I hope that this brings some people some comfort. I looked, when I failed my first one, on YouTube for help from other women, and there wasn't a ton of videos on people that had failed their first test. So this is why I wanted to do this video, to show that it's okay, you will be fine. And a lot of women do end up passing the second test, so you will be fine. But thank you for coming back to this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please hit that red subscribe button down below, and I will see y'all in the next video.